So what if I told you there's a place where the world's most powerful people can go? A place where the rules, where law, and even basic humanity just seem to vanish? Well, that's the world the unsealed Epstein files have dragged into the light. It's a scandal so huge, so dark, it's shaken the very foundations of power all across the globe.
This quote, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's like someone ripped the lid off the world's gutter, and what came out was this toxic stench of corruption. We're talking about billionaires, presidents, princes, even world-famous scientists. And now the rest of us are left grappling with this ugly truth, one that a lot of people probably wish had stayed buried.
The scale of this is it's staggering. 3.5 million. Let that number sink in. That's 3.5 million pages of documents. And get this, 1.8 million photographs. When this vault of secrets was finally cracked open, it unleashed an absolute flood of allegations that have left people horrified. And it's forcing all of us to ask some really tough questions about who's really in charge.
Okay, this is a ton of information to get through, a real labyrinth. So, to make sense of it all, we've broken it down into 5 key sections. You can think of them as case files. First, we're going to look at the tech titans, then the presidents. After that, the geniuses and royals. We'll also touch on the shocking international connections, and finally, we'll ask the biggest question of all: is there ever going to be any justice?
All right, let's dive into our first file. We're starting with 2 guys who have, let's be honest, completely defined our modern world. You've got the supposed messiah of philanthropy and the visionary who dreams of putting us on Mars. But the picture these files paint of them, well, it's a very, very different and deeply disturbing one.
For decades, we've known Bill Gates as the ultimate savior, the guy dedicated to curing the world's diseases. But according to draft emails written by Jeffrey Epstein himself, Gates was allegedly hiding a massive secret, something that made him wide open to being blackmailed. And the details in these allegations are just chilling. Epstein's draft emails claim Gates was in a complete panic. Why? Because of an alleged affair with some Russian girls that supposedly led to him contracting an STD. And who did he turn to for help? He supposedly begged Epstein, a convicted sex offender, for some kind of secret antidote, desperate to keep the whole thing from his wife, Melinda.
Now, of course, Gates's team has come out and said this is all total nonsense, just lies born of desperation. But here's where it gets really complicated. His own ex-wife, Melinda Gates, has publicly stated that Bill's ongoing relationship with Epstein was a factor in their divorce. So you have this deeply unsettling contradiction right there.
And Gates isn't the only tech visionary under a dark cloud. There's also Elon Musk. We all know his image, right? The work-obsessed pioneer totally focused on getting humanity to Mars. But leaked email suggests he might have been interested in some, let's just say, more earthly pursuits on Epstein's private island.
Just listen to this alleged quote. In an email exchange about visiting the island, Musk supposedly complained about being overworked and then asked, "What day is the wildest party going to be?" It's just jarring. This is a guy who's usually talking about rocket engineering, not wild parties.
For his part, Musk has strongly denied everything. He says he never, ever set foot on that island. He admits he was invited a bunch of times but always refused. And what about that infamous picture of him with Ghislaine Maxwell? He claims she just photobombed him.
Okay, so from Silicon Valley, we're now moving to the highest office in the land, the American presidency. Our second case file digs into how 2 former US presidents, Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, are deeply tangled up in this whole web. The claims against Donald Trump are pretty severe. The file suggests his relationship with Epstein wasn't just some casual friendship. The most shocking allegation? That he once accepted a virgin girl who was offered to him as a gift from a foreign sheik, literally treating a human being like currency. And if you want a sense of just how close they might have been, get this. Investigators found 14, that's 14, separate private phone numbers for Donald Trump in Epstein's contacts. That's not a distant acquaintance. That suggests a very close and constant line of communication. And then you have Bill Clinton. The number that's now forever linked to his connection with Epstein is 26. That's how many times flight logs show he flew on Epstein's private jet, the one infamously nicknamed the Lolita Express. But it's not just the flights. Clinton's name appears literally thousands of times throughout these documents. And this has fueled a really chilling theory.
that Epstein might have been collecting compromising material on powerful people like Clinton, not just for his own sick kicks, but as leverage to influence American politics.
Now, our third file. This one contains what might be the most shocking names of all. Here, the scandal spreads beyond business and politics and into the worlds of science and royalty. We're talking about a man who is seen as a god of science and a prince from one of the most famous royal families on Earth.
Stephen Hawking. Just seeing his name in these files absolutely stunned the world. I mean, this was a mind revered for unlocking the secrets of the universe. And yet, there's witness testimony alleging he was a visitor to Epstein's island and that he participated in a truly disturbing way.
The allegations claim Hawking enjoyed watching underage, unclothed girls perform complex calculations on a blackboard. It forces you to ask a deeply unsettling question. Was the man who theorized about cosmic black holes trapped in a moral one of his own? Some argue Epstein just used his presence for intellectual legitimacy, but the allegation itself is just horrifying.
And the accusations against Britain's Prince Andrew have been a complete catastrophe for the monarchy. The documents refer to the Duke as a regular and special guest. Victims testified that girls were sent to him like they were gifts, and that he used his royal status to intimidate them into staying quiet.
You know, this scandal's reach is truly global. It's not just a Western story. Our next file shows how these unsealed documents sent shockwaves far beyond, bringing up names connected to India and sparking a whole lot of controversy there too. The acclaimed filmmaker Mira Nair was photographed at an after-party at Ghislaine Maxwell's townhouse way back in 2009. Now, let's be crystal clear, just being at a party is not an accusation of wrongdoing, but that one connection has been weaponized. It's been used to launch these cruel, baseless online attacks against her son, with trolls calling him an Epstein baby. It just shows how even a tiny association with this can have devastating consequences. The names are shocking, absolutely. But the true horror of this story, it lies beyond just the individuals. For our final file, we have to zoom out and look at the sophisticated, predatory system that was designed from the ground up to exploit the vulnerable and protect the powerful.
So here's how the operation allegedly worked. First, you had Ghislaine Maxwell targeting and recruiting vulnerable girls, promising them help with school or money. Once they were on the island, they were allegedly abused, while hidden cameras and secret tunnels were used to create blackmail material. And all of this, it's claimed, happened while powerful institutions, from law enforcement to the media, just looked the other way.
So the truth is coming out, piece by painful piece. But the ultimate question is still hanging in the air. Will there ever be real justice? Or does this whole sordid case just prove that for the super rich and the super powerful, the laws of morality and justice simply do not apply? Are they, in the end, truly untouchable? That is the question these files leave burning in their wake.